Well, a very good evening, everybody, and welcome to Delta T Racing. It's Thursday night, so it is time again for Division 5 to complete the racing week. We're here, round number 7, so starting the second half of the season from Temple of Speed in Monza in Italy. So whilst I set up the camera, let's just bring up the table at the moment so we can see that Hans Buhr has a 16-point lead over Kurznikov, who's currently in second. Havoc Connor in third place, a further 25 points back. Then we have Skipper still in fourth place, having a good season for him on 58 points, so a 14-point gap to third. And he himself with a 4-point gap over Crudor. Then we have Prize Phantom, obviously winner last time out, so he'll be looking to improve on his record and then get himself up into that title fight if he can. We've got MBB in 7th, Nerdy in 8th. He'll be looking at getting a couple of good results if he can. Dr. Scenic in 9th, and Salza rounds out the top 10. So right, let's get on with qualifying. Who do we have out on track? So first up, I think we are... Phantom is going to be the first out on track this week. And so picking up, I think it was his maiden victory last week. He's been close over the last couple of weeks, but actually managed to sort of put it all together last week. And good for him. As I say, he'll be one to watch in here. Obviously, we have Hans Buhr, who is leading the championship, is going to look at getting some more points on the board. Dr. Scenic had a good race last time out as well. We also have the likes of obviously Havoc Connor and Kurznikov, who are more than capable of posting a decent time as well. Crudor is another one. So yeah, we've got quite a few that can win races in this division, although we have, as I say, the top 3 have just been a little bit more consistent, shall we say. Fairy Tale is out already. Where did that happen? Let's see if we can find out where it was. It is... yeah, coming out of the second chicane. So let's jump back on with Prize Phantom. Sorry for the jumping around there. I just wanted to see what was going on. Prize now coming around the Lesmos, coming up to the Varianta Ascari. Sector 2 time 53.3. That's not a bad time, certainly for an early posting. So it's just getting commitment into this final corner, making sure that you've got some grip around Parabolica, and then the sprint on to the start finish line, and we'll see what time he's going to post. This will be the target for everybody else. Hugs as tight as he can there with a 120.098. That's a pretty good time, I have to say. Dr. Scenic comes across 21.4, so 1.4 seconds down on that one. Hans Buhr now coming into the Parabolica. Let's see what time he can put. That's 22.4, so a fairly slow start for Hans Buhr there. Kurznikov putting a 121.0. Nerdy catapulting himself up there into second with a 21.052, but still a second behind Prize Phantom. He really has found some pace coming into the second part of the season. Crudor there putting in a 20.3, so that's again a very competitive time, and closing the gap on Phantom at the top. Okay, so who is next? I think Chef is on his outlap. I think Pete's into pits. Frax, is he coming across the line? Frax in as a reserve, but picking himself up a couple of points for 9th place last time out. Currently slowest a lot, 22.6, but I think he will build into that. Jurek now crossing the line. didn't actually set a time, so he was on an outlap. So, but Jurek, I think, is going to be the only one at the moment who is on a lap. Everybody else is going to be heading their way back to the pits for their second run. Some will do 2, some will do 3 runs in qualifying. Obviously, the prime time is to be out right at the end when there's the most grip, get that rubber down on the circuit, and the times can tumble. But you can also, I say, unfortunately, you can mistime it and you can miss your flying lap as well. I've seen that happen many a time to people, not just in sim racing, but in real life as well. So just staying with Jurek for the moment round on his lap. Let me try and get some buttons right today. Remembered what button does what now. Okay, so Jurek coming into the Parabolica. Get on the throttle as early as you can here and carry as much speed down, certainly towards turn number 1. But Jurek there pops himself up into 7th place with a 21.3, and I think was immediately eclipsed by Composite behind him, just going a 10th of a second quicker. The Composite up into 6th. I haven't seen Skipper out laps. Yeah, Skipper is out. Hans Buer is now going out for his second run, so we'll keep an eye on him in a bit. I just want to jump on board with Skipper. So they had a good season so far. Sitting in 4th in the championship. Still very, very much in contention as well, although he's 55 points behind. We've got a couple of sprint races still to go this year, and obviously a couple of bad results can have a huge swing in points, so he just needs to keep himself consistent. Didn't have the best of races last time out at Monaco. Hopefully we won't see any incidents for him this week. Okay, so Skipper now through Ascari, coming down the straight onto the Parabolica. He's actually still on his outlap, isn't he? Yeah, of course he is. So he will now be starting his lap. Where's Pete? Who's furthest round, Pete or MBB? I think MBB is going to be the first one to set a time out of this bunch. So we'll just keep on board with him. I want to keep an eye on Skipper. Obviously, we're going to have Hans Buer. Will be starting his second run, and he has started his second run now. We'll come off of MBB because he has invalidated double 54.1 in sector 2, so that's not really going to trouble the front of the grid. Pete again with a 54.2. Keep an eye on Skipper, see where he is. Obviously Hans Buer will be, well, it's just behind him round both Lesmos. Skipper towards the end of the lap. We'll see what time he can post. Obviously it's his first lap of the day. I think he will obviously come in, put a fresh set of boots on and give it a final sling, but he's invalidated anyway, so let's jump across. Is Skipper going to go for a second? No, he's too low on ERS. So let's go back to Hans Buer coming towards the end. Currently 22.4, slow by his standards. I would expect him to be up around about the 120s. See what time he can put in here, and a 120.5, so proves me right and puts himself just half a second now behind Phantom. I think he might have had an incident on his original lap, but Frank's 22.6, so currently in 14th place. Nerdy now on a lap, so let's jump on with Nerdy. So we've not seen much of him this year, as I missed a couple of races and he's had some unfortunate incidents which has kept him out of the battle at the front. We certainly know he's got the pace to be up there, and he's got the racecraft as well. It's just unfortunate incidents this year has it's led him to languish down in 8th place in the table, but certainly capable of being top 4. So hopefully a turnaround in Prize Phantom is out. Where's Prize Phantom crashed? Well, not quite sure where Prize Phantom has crashed, but Prize Phantom is out, so he will not be improving on that 20.0. I wonder if that would still be good enough to get in pole. I don't think so, because I think the track does rubber in. And times will get faster, but it's just whether anyone's got a 19 in them. Prize, what happened if you're watching? Be interesting to just find out what happened, so I missed it on camera. Okay, getting back out on track. Who do we have on track? We've got a car going very slowly out there. I think that's MBB. He's working his way back to the pits. Just getting himself out the way, which is very gentlemanly of him. Double is in the pits. Okay, so anyone on a lap? I'm really struggling to find anyone at the moment. Right, let's jump on with the fracks. Let me jump through. He has invalidated, so there's no point being on with him. Chef is just behind. Nerdy. 55.2, so yeah, 1.7 down, so it's going to be an in lap for Nerdy as well. So finding someone on a lap at the moment is a bit of a mission. We've got Connor on an out lap. Just behind him, I think, I'm not sure if that's Jurek or Hans Buer. That's Jurek, so Hans Buer just a little bit further up. Ralph haven't mentioned much either, currently in 13th place. So Nerdy into the pits. So who is going to be the first? Is Jurek going to set a time? Flashing away on fuel, so he's very low on fuel, and he doesn't. He dives into the pits as well. Double there. Oh, looks like we're going to have someone who's going to put 121.98. I think that was a very slow lap for him there, but he is now starting a hot lap. So I managed to find someone who's on a hot lap. Composite as well. Let me just see where Composite is on the track coming round the Parabolica towards the end of the lap. Just see if he can improve on his current time for 21.2. Not looking at that actually. No. He is now onto his lap. So his jump with Double, who's a little bit further ahead going into Lesmo 1. So it's so important to get the braking point and carry the speed into there. And again here as you're going through Lesmo 2. So Double now coming round the final corner, trying to improve on his 21.9, currently 15th and slowest out of everybody that's set a time. Obviously Connor, Skipper and Nuno Rod yet to put a time up on the board, and Double does improve to a 21.252, so up into 10th place. Okay, so composite is, I think he aborted that one looking at his ERS, so I think he's probably going for another one now, but it's not going to help him with his speed out of that final corner. We have lost Kieran as well. Looks like the Varianta Ascari has claimed another victim today, and Kieran has been caught out there, but he's got a 21 flat on the board, currently in 5th, so not too bad for him so far. Okay, who are we on with? So that's Chef, so we're looking Nerdy. Double has retired as well. I think he's just retired from the session. Set the best time that he can with the time left that's available. So Nerdy, come on, let's show us how it's done. Currently in 4th place. Can he improve? Needs to improve 0.6 of a second to get pole position, but he's more than capable. And so with the track rubbering in, going up to the second chicane into Lesmo 1, round into Lesmo 2. Might get a bit of a toe off the car in front of him actually. It might fall quite well for him if he could just get behind, just pick up the toe. Takes a good chunk there and needs to carry a little bit more speed around there. We have a car that's round, I'm not quite sure. And that was, I think it was one of the Haas, and Nerdy has aborted. So is that game set and match for him? Quite sure how much time's left because we've got yellow flags everywhere at the moment. Bring up my little app and then I will be able to see exactly how much time is left. Also have a quick look as well. Obviously the weather looks dry going forward. The race also looks dry, so I don't think there's going to be anything happening of note there. I think Skipper's had a bit of a spin in the final corner as well. So yeah, Skipper coming in 17 seconds left, so that is the end of his qualifying. Who do we have coming through? It's not Nerdy, it must be Chef. Where's Chef down in 13th? Coming across the line, moves himself up into 8th with a 21.151, so a pretty good lap for him there. It's not Frax. I'm trying to find out who's the next one to come across the line, and I've missed him. Ralph's already through. So Hans, see if he can put a final spurt in to bring pole position. So far, nobody improving on Prize's original 20.098. That just goes to show what a cracking lap that was. But we have Hans, we have Chef JB, and we have Jurek are the only people that can take pole position away from Prize. Here's Hans coming into the Parabolica, the final time in qualifying. He will not improve looking at that time. So Prize Phantom will take pole position. Chef JB 0.2 up on or down on his time, so that's not going to be an improvement there. So it is going to be a pole position for Prize Phantom. I think he took pole position last time out as well, so he's certainly proving that he can be a little bit dominant once he actually sort of gets it all together. And I think he's going to be one they're going to struggle to catch up with in the race. I say 2/10 in the end. I'm sure he could have got that down to a 19. So he didn't see, unfortunately, what happened to him, but wasn't able to take part in the latter stages of qualifying. But still manages to hold on to pole position. So I'll run through the grid quickly while we're waiting for the timer to count down. So Prize Phantom taking pole position with a 120.098. And then it decides to change when I do that. Crudor is second with a 20.306, I believe it was. Just wait for the results to come up. 20.239, apologies. Then Hans Buer in third. In fourth, we have Nerdy, so good qualifying for him. Dr. Scenic in fifth. In sixth, we have Havoc, seventh. Kieran. In eighth, we have Kersnikov, Chef JB in ninth. 10th is MBB, Mighty Franks in 11th. Composite 12th, Double 13th. Jurek 14th, 15th, Ralph Albers. 16th, Pete the Pirate. 17th, Fairy Tale. 18th, Skipper, and bringing up the rear of the grid, Nuno Rod. Notice the last three, unfortunately, unable to set a time there. But hopefully, they'll be hoping for a little bit better fortunes in the race, which we will go to next.
Welcome to Monza, where the crowd are ready for today's action, and we hope you're ready to see the world's best drivers fighting it out for that #1 spot. It's time for the Italian Grand Prix. We're 12 miles northeast of Milan for today's Grand Prix at a Monza circuit where we can expect top speeds of around 215 miles per hour. 11 corners on this 3.6-mile track, with 7 of those coming in the form of chicanes. And with a good slipstream and DRS open, there should be plenty of opportunity for some passing here today.
Well, welcome back everybody. As you can see, the drivers have now chosen their tyre strategies for the race. And we will be off on the formation lap. Let me just bring up tyres so we could just see who has started on or what tyres. So Hans Buer in third is on the hards, as is Dr. Scenic in fifth, then 9th and 10th. MBB and Frax on the hards, and Jurek in 14th on the hards. So that's 2, 4, 5. 5 have gone for the hards, and 14 have gone for the mediums. Okay, but yeah, Prize doing very well at the moment, as I say, picking up the win last time out at Monaco. Pretty much a faultless drive, bringing home the win there. Again, pole position as well, so taking maximum points. Don't think he got fastest lap, so he didn't make it the hat-trick for the weekend, but certainly showed a turn of pace, and didn't win it by a small margin either. I think it was about 19-20 seconds in the end that he crossed ahead of Crudor and Hans. So obviously they'll be looking for, well, a little bit better luck, I think, this week. But the problem with Monaco is it's you never quite know what's around the corner that you're driving into. Okay, so drivers are warming up their tyres as best they can, ready for the sprint down to Rettifilo, turn number 1 and 2, where we've seen a huge amount of incidents over the years, not only from off of the start, but we've seen cars parked on top of each other, we've seen cars going end over end. Certainly a corner, obviously with full speed, down to such a slow speed right-hander. There's only takes a slight misjudgment and carnage absolutely everywhere. But hopefully we won't have that today. So Prize now coming into place. Crudor in place, Hans Buer. So we are just working our way through the grid, waiting for them to form up. when we get to the last person who will be skipper, get into his grid place. He won't actually, because I think it's Pete ahead of him, but then we will be lined up and ready for the start of the race. So I cannot see any lights at all, and it's lights out and away we go. And it's a good start by Phantom. Crudor also getting a good start, but Hansbauer looking to make the move around the outside. Hans having to take to the runoff there to make that stick, but Crudor making the most of it. We have a spinner. I think Kieran not having the best of starts. Dr. Scenic as well, dropping down a few. But Crudor and Hans already dropping nearly a second they were behind Prize. I think they're getting themselves back into the rhythm now. But the biggest loser out of this, Kieran Trollface, down to 17th from 7th. So a loss of 10 points there. Unfortunate for him. Ralph and Skipper looked like they were going at it. Nuno Rod, unfortunately, having a little bit of a spin there. Right, let's get back at the front. We're just waiting for this to settle down a bit. So Kieran making up a place on Jurek, who Jurek looks like he has had a terrible first lap as well. Peter Pirate doesn't have a front wing, so he'll be coming into the pits. Kieran doesn't seem to have any damage, visible damage. I think he may just have been the chef there deciding to take to the corner, obviously for some avoidance there, perhaps a little bit of late braking. Picks up a penalty for it as well. Oh, Havoc hitting the back of Nerdy there, so getting the braking point wrong. Unfortunately, Nerdy then losing a place to MBB as well, so Nerdy dropping down into 4th. No fault of his own there, got a bit punted up the backside. Happens quite often around here. You have to really, it's one of those that you can't just rely on seeing the driving line and using that as an assist on the for the braking, because you just can't see it, and by the time you see it, it's too late, and Double is around, so not a good start for Double. Will put himself back out, hopefully. Yep, all good there. Right, so go back to the front. Price Phantom stretch that lead out now to a second, so just outside of that DRS zone. Hans Buer seems quite happy just to sit a little bit further behind Crudor at the moment, perhaps use his toe and save his ERS for an attack a bit later. Certainly Hans is sitting in a good position on those softs, just on those hards, sorry, just 1.6 seconds back from Prize. Crudor, Prize! Prize, where did he go, where did he go, where did he go? Prize. No. Right. I saw him go around, then I completely missed going back on him. But down into 12th place. I'm not sure if he has any. Yeah, he has no front wing at all. So his only hope now is to go on to the hards and give it a long stint. I mean, he's certainly got the pace, but that is so unfortunate. It looked like he had this pretty much in control at the start, and certainly had the pace, but not over yet. Still a long way to go. 24 laps or 23 laps after this one. The Prize does indeed come into the pits. We'll see what tyres he puts on. Just looking at the back as well, obviously Jurek a double. Nuno, Rod and Fairy Tale not having the best start. There we go, so Prize repaired onto another set of mediums, so he'll be looking at stopping again. He'll be hoping that there's a safety car that will draw him up a little bit. But let's jump back to where the battle is. We've got an immense train going on here. Literally from MBB in 3rd place all the way down to Skipper in 11th. So Skipper having a good start after, I think he was 18th, 19th at the start. So he's pulled his way up pretty well. But this is a real DRS train here, and it is so difficult to overtake. It really is. Jump on and see what is happening here. It looks like Chef. Oh, somebody else just overshot there. That was Mighty Frax. He needs to give those 2 positions back, which he does. Havoc all over the back of Dr. Senior, but just needs to be patient. One thing you don't want to do here is go for a mad dive, because it will just end up in you out or ruining someone else's race. It's so difficult to get in if that car in front's got DRS as well, and then it becomes an ERS battle. Dr. Scenic was very close to the back of MBB there, but seems to just be dropping away just a little bit. Okay, I think MBB could have perhaps given a little bit more room there, certainly didn't give. I think it might have been a Lewis Hamilton's width, but I'd like to have seen a little bit more there, but it's cost Nerdy a couple of places just dropping down, although he is determined not to lose that position to Connor as well, and he doesn't. Good defending there from Nerdy, moving himself back into 5th. Composite making his way past Havoc then as well. Havoc getting unsettled with the overtake on Nerdy. As I say, it's so close. It's the problem as well. You go for an overtake, you make a slight mistake, you've lost 1, maybe 2, 3, 4 places. So at the front, Crudor very much in control, nearly 2 seconds clear. Oh, MBB. Oh, MBB's just taken his teammate out. Oh my God, Toto is not going to be happy about that. He's going to be headset smashed all over the place for that one. My God. And I think it's brought out safety car. It has. So this is going to fall nicely, pretty much for people to, for the medium runners. They can come in and put the hards on until the end of the race. But there are certainly going to be discussions in that Mercedes garage tonight. In fairness, I'm not sure MBB could have done anything about it. He just spun, and Havoc was the next car along. But gainers out of this is anybody that's pitting now, really. And did Ralph pit? Get the tyre details up. Ralph has pit for new tyres. So if there's no delta, they could make up an awful lot of places here. But Crudor, as I was just saying, was pretty much in control of this one. Nearly 2 seconds clear of Hansberg, but Hans was obviously on the harder compound, and it's fallen just wrong for him as well, because to come in now and put medium tyres on 21 laps to go, it's doable. I think I did 22, 23 last night. Unfortunately, I got a puncture on the last lap, but part of that was down to some contact. But I still think they were going off. I think 21 laps is a push on the mediums, so we'll have to see what he does. But Dr. Scenic comes in as well. He'll get rid of those hards. Again, he's going to have to go for a set of mediums unless he's going to go medium softs. So, yep, on to the mediums. Nerdy. Not sure what Nerdy. Nice helmet, Nerdy, with the horns on there. You horny little devil, you. Nerdy has gone on to the hard, so he'll be taking those until the end of the race. So Hans Buer is now the leader on 7-lap-old hards. Behind him he's got Chef JB, who again hasn't stopped. 7-lap-old mediums. We have Skipper in third on the 7-lap-old mediums. And the first of the drivers to stop is Crudor in fourth. Just looking to see where Price actually stopped with another set of hards on as well. So currently down in 16th, but I think he will make a few spaces up there. We have a few that have come into the pits now. They want to be careful that our fairy tale is out of position as well. So Hans is going to love that, the fact that he's got a back marker right behind him. So between him and Chef JB, yeah, that's going to be good for him. But I just want to make sure these two, they have made it out in time. So I had a horrible feeling that they were going to get lapped then, but they should be able to make their way around. Whether they'll catch up, you can see the safety car is going to stay out for, well, it's going to be a minimum of 1 lap. I think we're probably going to be looking at 2 laps. Skipper now coming in to the pits, get rid of those 8-lap-old. Oh, sorry, 8-lap-old tyres and putting a fresh set of mediums on. Skipper will return in 12th place. So he'll work his way back onto the back of the grid. Right, so current standings of the Italian Grand Prix. Hans Buer leading on his 8-lap-old hard. So we have Chef JB in second, Crudor in third, but has now made the mandatory pit stop, so he is really the de facto leader. Everyone else is still needing to make, or the two ahead of him needing to make a pit stop. Kieran Cholface in fourth. Had an eventful Grand Prix so far. Started off quite well, dropped down the grid, had a couple of little incidents, but now found himself back up into 4th place. MBB in 5th. So unfortunately having an accident with his teammate in Parabolica. Dr. Scenic in 6th, Composite 7th, Nerdy currently in 8th, but as I say, has changed tyres now, so if you're looking potentially 4 ahead of him, has still got a pit, could be sitting in a net 4th position. Ralph in to 9th and Kurznikov currently in 10th. We're watching the safety car. We'll just have a quick look at the constructor standing as well, with McLaren currently leading the way on 127 points from Aston Martin on 112. So far today it's looking pretty good for McLaren to extend that. With Hans Buer currently in first and the nearest Aston Martin is P10. Mercedes in third with 104 points, obviously taking a bit of a hit with the Havoc incident there. Alfa Romeo in fourth, Ferrari fifth, Alpine sixth, seventh, AlphaTauri eighth, Williams ninth, Red Bull, and Haas in 10th place with not a point on the board yet. Okay, so session looks dry. So it doesn't look like we're going to have any rain late on. Certainly nothing that's on the radar at the moment. Looking current best lap out there is it's Price Phantom, obviously with a 23.324. I think he showed that he's got the pace. That's a long way from 14th on the grid. Awful lot of cars to get past. So safety car will be in this lap. We will be back to green flag racing. So we are just waiting for Hans Buhr to decide when to go. Everybody behind him will be hoping. Okay, and he has gone. And Chef JB didn't get. I was going to say didn't get a brilliant jump there, but he did. Is now in pretty good position. Notice there the Red Bull just trying to keep himself out of the way, which is a good call if you've been lapped. So we have a battle going on between Crudor. Oh, and contact there with Crudor and Kieran. Kieran again bit, and then Crudor just backs into the road, which takes out Kersnikov. So guys, you've got to be so much more careful when you're rejoining track. I know you've got the ump, but the thing is you can't just slam it in reverse and go back on the track. That's poor driving. I'm sorry, but that's poor driving. So back at the front, Hans Buhr pulling out a 3.1 second lead. Fairy Tale picking up a penalty there. Nuno Rod is around, so not been a good lap for the Alpine team with Nuno and Crudor, sorry, being involved in an incident there, so no front wing there. Right, we have catch up with who's battling. Right, okay, his jump composite is very, very close to the back of MBB, looking for a fourth place in the Ferrari if he can. So everybody was saved up there or recharged their ERS under the safety car. Williams of double and the Alpine of Crudor there battling into turn number one. I thought we might see a replay of the previous incident with the Williams, but not thankfully. So Nuno in to get a new front wing, and he'll be back out. Let's say Hans Buhr with 3.5 second lead now. Chef JB also looking quite comfortable with a giving himself nearly a 2 second lead on Dr. Scenic behind. So really in prime position here at the moment is probably composite, because MBB still has to pit. Dr. Scenic, whose mediums I do not think is going to take him to the end of the race. Okay, no more close battles going Saying that Krudor is still trying to get his way past double, and Kersnikov just behind as well, so they'll be looking to make up the time that they lost during that incident. But they've noticed the gap's just spreading out a little bit now, sort of a second and a half. People settling down into the mid part of this race. Krudor, there's bound to be a warning there, but he will probably give himself just enough drive to go up the outside here. Hopefully he does make it past, and there's no contact at all there. Getting back, we're then gonna have Kersnikov, who is going to be itching to get past, and didn't need a scratch for long, did he? He is nearly past already. So lagging ever such a little bit, Kersnikov there, but moves his way up into 13th, so he will now go looking for Krudor in front of him. Nerdy also, I think, suffering from those incidents a little bit earlier on, dropped himself down into 10th place. So still a long way to go. We are just at round about halfway distance at 13.5 laps of the 27. So anything can happen. Still a long way to go. And a lot does tend to happen at Monza late on. Okay, so Price has worked his way back up into 8th position, so he's doing a fantastic job there. As I say, he has got the speed. Unfortunately managed to I think his ambition exceeded the abilities of the car. Oh, and he's round again. Trying too hard now, I think. I think he just got in the dirty air there and was a bit too early on the throttle. So all that hard work undone. Back down to 13th place, sir. Dr. Scenic now within a second of Chef JB. We'll see if he can. I was going to say if he can keep it, but he's already lost another 0.3 of a second. Kersnikov now looking at making a move on Krudor, which he does with ease, to be honest with you. Breezes up the inside of Krudor there now, and will look at pulling away as best he can. Obviously will need to use his DRS because Krudor behind him will have DRS to try and retake that position down into turn number 1. Chef JB has... Yep, Chef JB has pitted. Right. Well, neither of these want to give each other an inch, do they? Don't think Kersnikov again gave any room on the inside there. Not that I think Krudor would have made it, but you still got to leave the room. Always got to leave the room, as Alonso would say. So Ralph in 5th place, so he's doing very well actually, working his way up into 5th, just under a second behind MBB. Frank's also having a steady race in 6th, although he does have that penalty there that's going to hinder him. I think I missed Nerdy getting past Skipper there. Nerdy up into 7th, Skipper in 8th. Jurek will be next to challenge Skipper. MBB has pitted. So 10 laps to go. I'm sure he'll go for a fresh set of mediums, which he has. So they'll take him to the end of the race. Obviously, it's going to be quite quick. If there's a late safety car or a safety car any time from now onwards, he could well be laughing, to be honest. But Hans Boer controlling the race as it stands, although he still hasn't pitted yet, has he? Let me get the details. No, so Hans Boer has not pitted. Chef picking up a 3-second time penalty there for corner cutting. What else do we have? Chef with 11 seconds of penalties. Kieran with 10. Fairy Tale with 11 as well. So we've got quite a few penalties in there. Okay, so when is Hans going to come in? That is the question. We've got to be pretty much there or thereabouts, so he's going to make that decision soon. But it is going to drop him a long, long way down that field. I think he's probably going to drop out of the top 10. But we will see. But he certainly is not coming in on this lap. Perhaps we'll keep going just in case there is a late safety car. Just stretch that stint out on the hards. We have Frax and Skipper now into the pits. They will take the medium. Skipper, 9 laps to the end, 10 laps. That might be a bit of a stretch on the softs. I think he'll be struggling towards the end. Pete, obviously, with 6 lap old softs, he's going to be struggling now. Chef JB, 2 laps. I can't see he's going to take that to the end of the Grand Prix either. So still some pit stops to go here. Dr. Scenic now is closing that gap down. Was just over 5 seconds, now down to 4.7, so it closed in around about half a second. And Hans has come into the pits, which gives the lead to Dr. Scenic Composite up into second. Both of those have already pitted as well, so they do not need to pit again. Hans, where are you going to come out? I think you're going to come out behind Prize in 9th. It does. We'll be racing Prize down to turn 1, but Prize already on warm tyres. 12 lap old hards though, so I would have thought that Hans will be able to get his way past him, but that's now an awful long way to the front. There's a couple there, I think, on the mediums that will need to pit. Skipper and Double side by side going down into Rettifilio. Double drop him back a bit. Wondered if he would make a move to in the coming up to Della Roggia, but he did not. So into Lesmo 2, Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. Okay, so back at the front, Dr. Scenic in a good position, although, as I say, those we've still got 7, 8 laps to go, so 20 laps on those mediums. It's doable, but they are going to be like driving on ice for that last lap or two. But if you're going to give it a go, mate, I wish you all the best on that one. Composite looking steady in second place. So 12 lap old hards there. But he will get those to the end without a problem, as will Ralph, who's a position behind. Nerdy, after all of those shenanigans, has still managed to find himself up into 4th. Let's see if he's able to close down a little bit on Ralph, get himself past and up onto the podium. And he takes a penalty, and all of a sudden it all changes. I say a late safety car could throw this all completely open as well. It does seem like the field has spread out a little bit at the moment. Perhaps people just settling into a bit of a rhythm just to see at home now. We might see a bit of a spurt by somebody towards the end. It will be interesting to see if Dr. Scenic does try and go to the end, or will come in and put a fresh set of tyres on. In fact, let's jump on with Dr. Scenic. I'm not giving him much time at all because of the things going on behind, and I'm quickly not going to give him too much longer either, because running behind I can see Hans is closing in on Prize now. Prize also on those 14 lap old hards. Still going to have a fair amount of grip on them, but they're certainly going to be probably just past their peak, whereas Hans behind on 2 lap old mediums has probably just gone up to temperature and is loving the additional grip. Ooh. Or maybe not. I was going to say loving the additional grip compared to the hards, but then he nearly binned it, so I'll just shut up on that one. MBB in 11th, half a place, so Hans has now picked up a 3-second penalty. Hans jumps into the slipstream, and the DRS wide open works his way past Prize, who is very low, if not out of ERS, flashing away behind there. And Hans works his way up into 8th place. 3.5 second gap now between him and P7 in front. MBB making a move on Chef JB, nice and cleanly there. I think Chef JB's softs are going to be screaming out at the moment. Crudor seems to have had a bit of a moment there going through. Is that the second chicane? Yeah, so it was Roger. And that has now put Hans all over the back of him. Car. Let's see if he gives him. Yeah, Hans is past him pretty easily there. So difference between 3 lap old mediums and 14 lap old hards quite prevalent there, going into Variante Ascari. We've got a few close ones now. Skipper closing in on the back of Mighty Frax. Obviously on those 4 lap old softs should be quicker, but I mean the mediums are not too bad round here in fairness, so Frax isn't going to be easy for him to overtake. Keeping an eye on Chef and Hans, but oh, Pete is out. Is this going to be a late safety car? Where is Pete out? We have a late safety car. Can you believe it? We are going to have late drama here. This is going to fall. Now, is Dr. Scenic going to come in or not? I think he's going to have to be honest. He's got to come in and put a fresh set of softs on. I can see most of the field coming in for fresh softs. Obviously, Skipper Skipper could be in a decent position here. 5-lap-old softs isn't going to need to pit. Dr. Scenic stays out. Composite stays out. Looks like they're all staying out. Kurznikov has come in. Looks like Phantom has come in as well. So I think more for them, it's going to be a last couple of laps hurrah, try and get a fastest lap. But obviously with people around them with penalties, if they don't have anything themselves, then they can make up quite a few positions. Obviously the one person this is going to hurt is Hans with that 3-second penalty. Although everybody behind him has penalties as well, but he's certainly not going to move himself forward. So it looks like Dr. Scenic has made the right decision to stay out with none of the cars behind him pitting. I do wonder if he'd have pitted, whether they would have pitted as well. But the good thing about this, it might just prolong his mediums long enough to actually manage to finish this race. But as I say, he's going to be doing 19, nearly 20 laps on them by the time he's finished. Okay, so how long is the safety car going to stay out for? Who's that in the pits at the moment? So Kieran into the pits, or coming out of the pits now, so to say, with a fresh set of softs on. So the newest set of soft tyres, or really the set of soft tyres that would be pushing, are going to be in 11th place in Skipper, so everybody ahead on either older or medium or hard tyres. They're not going to pit. So yeah, it's just whether Dr. Scenic is now able to hold off the chasing Ferrari of Composite. Oh, sorry, just noticed the stream. Yeah, Kai saying that he did the same strategy as Dr. Scenic, and it is very possible to get to the end. Yeah, I mean, I did the same last night, I have to admit. I think I pitted probably a bit early on the to get off the hards because we had a safety car. I think I stretched the mediums probably just that little bit too far. I was having contact on the penultimate lap, I think, just finished my tyre. But yeah, it's possible. He's certainly going to be slippy as hell out there, but it'd be good to see him bring it home. So he's had a good race so far. A fair few leaders, a fair few mess-ups, fair few incidents, accidents, some good racing, some bad returning to track, and a couple of retirements. The safety car is in this lap, as it would be, to give us 2 clear laps of racing, but I'm not sure who that is at the end there. It's going to be Kieran. I think it depends how slowly they go into the final corner. He might just get himself onto the back of this train, but I think he's got about 11 seconds of penalty last time I looked. So Dr. Scenic to see a little bit smoother application of the throttle when they're moving away, but it is what it is. Jurek now making a move up the inside of Nerdy, and Nerdy says no thank you very much, I'm not having that, and all hell has broken loose behind there. Oh my Jesus, oh God, oh, half the we won't get a safety car because of... Oh, Jesus, how many cars have we lost? I know. So MBB out, so an absolutely dreadful day for the Mercedes team. obviously hoping to get into the battle. Hans has made his way back up into third place after all of that crap that happened in front of him. Composite, unfortunately, he was in it for the win as well. Was I didn't quite see what started that. I mean, I certainly saw all the contact, and it looked like some kind of demolition derby. But out of all this, it's turned out bloody well for Hans Buer. As I say, I think he is now going to actually end up stretching his championship lead. Crudor has no front wing, but no point coming into the pits with just a lap to go. So yeah, very unfortunate for Composite and for MBB there. I mean, MBB obviously, after having the incident with his teammate, recovered really well and was up there fighting, only for an incident at the end, which took himself and Composite out. Anyway, right, we still have some fighting going on here between Kurznikov and oh, who's that in front? Nerdy's out, so we've right, I need to jump back to the leaders, but it all kicking off behind. I'm not quite sure what happened there with Kurznikov and Nerdy, but it ended up with Nerdy in the wall. But my God almighty, this has been the last couple of laps since that safety car. It's all kicked off. So Nerdy out of the race, but Dr. Scenic is going to come around and pick up, I think it's his first win. But he has done so well. It looks like Jurek, is he allowing Hans Buer through for Team Alder? That is well done, bravo. You've given up second place, it hurts, I know, but well done for your teammate. That is really well done. So Dr. Scenic coming home and taking his maiden Grand Prix victory, and many congratulations to him. Jurek picking up second place. Oh, because of the penalty prize. Phantom returning into third place after that race. My God, what a recovery. Hans Buer picking up fourth. Then we have double in fifth. Crudor coming home in sixth. Seventh, Kurznikov after a bit of an incident stream race. Skipper not having his best of races today, but I think he was something happened on the first lap, and it looks like he's done the last couple of laps with no front wing. Chef JB came home in ninth. In 10th, Kieran Trollface. 11th, Mighty Frex. 12th is still classified as Nerdy. Oh, it's now going to be Ralph who's going to come home in 12th. And in 13th is going to be Nerdy. 14th, Nuno. Then we have the non-finishers of Composite, MBB, Fairy Tale, Pete the Pirate, and Havoc Connor. Well, I have to admit that was excuse me 1 second. Sorry, just coughing my guts up there. I have to admit, it wasn't a bad race all the way along, and then my God, did it come to life in that last couple of races. I've never seen so many cars bouncing off each other and so much carbon fibre. And the fact that we only managed to get 2 retirements out of that, I think, was pretty remarkable. Nerdy, unfortunate for him, as I say, was battling up there for the podium positions. But due to an incident which I think was with Kurznikov, not 100% sure if somebody else was involved, but Nerdy ending up out of the race at De La Roggia on the, I think it was the last lap or penultimate lap. But anyway, Dr. Scenic, many congratulations on your first victory. Just going to wait now for the clock to count down, and then we'll go through the finishing results. Next we're waiting for is Ralph to finish, and I don't think he's in any rush to finish this race off. You know, I mean, if you wouldn't mind, Ralph, we'd all like to finish up and go home. Okay. So Ralph has retired from the session. So that will bring to a close round number 7, Italian Grand Prix at the Temple of Speed at Monza. And here's Dr. Scenic coming out to his adoring fans to celebrate his maiden victory, and very, very well done to him. As a very brave decision to take those mediums. I think the late safety car obviously helped with the degradation. But himself and Jurek, who finished second as well, I think he was on the same strategy as well, obviously with old mediums. So well done to them. Many congratulations. Okay, so the official results are in, and a good day for the Alfa Romeo team. Obviously, defending champions from last year, the Alfa Romeo, bringing home a first with Dr. Scenic and a third with Prize Phantom, recovering all the way from last. Showed he had the pace today. Jurek in second place for McLaren, and as I say, we've got Prize in third. Hans Buer getting home in fourth. Obviously, that penalty affecting him at the end. Double in fifth. In sixth, we have Krudor, seventh, Kurznikov, eighth, Skipper, ninth, Chef JB, in 10th, Kieran Trollface after an eventful race, Mighty Frax in 11th, 12th, Ralph, having some fun with donuts at the end there, 13th, Nerdy, unfortunately getting an incident on the penultimate lap. Nuno Rod in 14th, 15th, Composite, MBB 16th, Fairy Tale 17th, Peak Pirate 18th, and Havoc 19th. Obviously, they do not finishers of nerdy downwards. So that brings to a close round number 7, the Italian Grand Prix. We will return at the same time next week. We'll be here on Thursday for Division 5, and obviously on Tuesday we have divisions 1 and 3, and on Wednesday we have divisions 2 and 4, and we'll be coming home we'll be coming from the home of British motorsport at Silverstone. So the old airfield there always brings some exciting racing. Also is a sprint race weekend as well, so we'll look forward to an extra few laps around there. But so anyway, I will close for tonight. But many congratulations to Podium Prize Phantom. Congratulations on your first victory. I say very well deserved. And I'll look forward to. Did I say Prize Phantom? Dr. Scenic on your victory. And I'll look forward to commentating next week. But from myself, Neil Boy, I'll say good night. I hope you all have a fantastic weekend, and I'll look forward to speaking to you next week. Take care, everyone.